Welcome back. Today, we're talking about the famous steel wheat penny, one of the most unique and talked about coins in US history. These 1943 pennies were made of steel instead of copper, and some rare versions are worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you have one, it could be a hidden treasure. Let's find out which steel wheat pennies are the most valuable and what makes them so special. First up, the 1943 steel wheat penny is a fascinating and highly collectible coin due to its unique composition and historic context. Minted during World War II, when copper was redirected for the war effort, the United States Mint-produced pennies made primarily of steel coated with zinc. This unusual metal choice makes the 1943 penny stand out among other wheat pennies and adds to its rarity and value. Despite the circulated condition and some rust present on this particular coin, it remains highly desirable among collectors, with recent sales reaching impressive figures above $40,000. On the obverse side of the 1943 steel penny, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, remains a key feature. Even though this coin has circulated, many details such as Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and the date 1943 are still visible. The mint mark below the date indicates it was produced at the San Francisco Mint, which is known for producing some of the more sought-after variants of this series. The steel core means the coin is magnetic, a characteristic that often intrigues collectors and helps in authenticating genuine 1943 steel pennies. The reverse side features the iconic wheat stalks that give this series its nickname. Despite the circulation and some rust spots that have developed over time, the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America remain legible, framed by the wheat ears on either side. The phrase "E pluribus unum" sits above, completing the design. Rust is a common issue for steel pennies because of the metal's vulnerability to oxidation, but collectors often accept minor surface imperfections when the coin's rarity and history are considered. The production of steel pennies in 1943 was a direct response to wartime needs, as copper was urgently required for ammunition and other military supplies. The San Francisco Mint struck approximately 170 million steel pennies in 1943, making it relatively common among the steel penny issues. However, finding a well-preserved example, even in circulated condition, is increasingly difficult. Many coins suffered from corrosion or damage over the decades, which makes surviving specimens with readable details very valuable. Collectors also look for specific varieties and mint errors within the 1943 steel penny series. Some coins may have off-center strikes, double dies, or rare mint mark variations. While this example does not feature such errors, its provenance, condition, despite circulation, and historical significance contribute greatly to its valuation. Coins like this one have recently sold in the range of $40,000 or more, especially when they come with certification from professional grading services confirming their authenticity and condition. The steel composition of the 1943 penny means it has a unique feel and sound compared to traditional copper pennies. It is lighter and has a distinctive metallic ring when dropped. This uniqueness adds to the appeal for collectors and historians alike. Despite the rust and wear, coins like this one provide a physical link to a significant moment in history, reminding us of the sacrifices made on the home front during World War II. If you own a 1943 steel wheat penny, even one with signs of rust and wear, it is worth having it professionally appraised. Proper cleaning should be avoided to maintain the coin's value, since improper handling can reduce its desirability. Instead, preserving its current state and obtaining a professional grading can help you understand its true market potential. The 1943 steel wheat penny, rusted and circulated as it may be, remains a prized collector's item. Its blend of unique materials, historical context, and rarity in today's market makes it a fascinating piece of numismatic history with considerable financial value. For collectors who appreciate coins with stories, this penny offers a direct connection to the challenges and ingenuity of the wartime era. making it a treasure worth seeking out and preserving. Next up we have the 1944 steel wheat penny coin is one of the most legendary and mysterious coins in the history of United States coinage. Officially, the U.S. Mint transitioned back to copper alloy for pennies in 1940 after using steel in 1943 to save copper for the war effort. However, in extremely rare cases, leftover steel plankets from 1943 were accidentally used in early 1940 at a few mint locations. This resulted in the accidental creation of steel pennies dated 1944. The 1944 steel wheat penny is one of those incredibly rare coins, and only a tiny handful are confirmed to exist today. Even in a circulated condition, with some rust on the front side, the coin we are discussing holds immense collector significance and potential value far beyond typical expectations. This specific 1944 example, despite the visible signs of rust and circulation, is one of the few known steel cents from the San Francisco Mint. Most 1944 pennies were struck on copper plankets, and finding one on a zinc-coated steel planchet immediately makes it a coin of immense interest in the numismatic community. The rust present on the front side suggests the coin has spent many years in less than ideal storage conditions, possibly exposed to moisture or improper handling. Yet it is exactly these unexpected finds, long forgotten in drawers or old collections, that sometimes turn out to be the most extraordinary. The diagnostics of this coin are crucial. Weight, magnetic response, and metallurgical composition are all indicators that experts look at to confirm authenticity. The steel planchet should weigh approximately 2.7 grams, which is lighter than the copper version used that same year. Magnetic properties are also a clear giveaway. Steel is attracted to a magnet while copper is not. In this coin's case, all signs point to an original steel planchet being used during striking, which makes it one of the few legitimate 1944 steel cents. Because of its rarity and the importance of even circulated examples, this coin commands exceptional attention and value. Collectors are fascinated by these transitional errors because they represent actual moments of change or oversight at the mint. The presence of 1944 dated steel coins means some steel blanks were accidentally left in the minting presses and got struck with the New Year's dies before being discovered. This sort of transitional error is extremely rare and collectible, and examples from the San Francisco Mint are even rarer than their Philadelphia or Denver counterparts. With only a few documented authentic examples ever verified, this coin stands among the elite of U.S. minting anomalies. While many collectors prefer coins in mint state condition, error coins like this hold their value based on their rarity and historical significance more than their grade. That is why even in circulated condition, with wear and corrosion such as rust, the value does not diminish as it would with normal coins. The rarity trumps the surface condition in this case. This 1944 steel penny was graded and verified through professional numismatic channels and confirmed as a genuine wartime transitional error. Its sale price in a recent private transaction was an astonishing $372,000. The Beer, a high-end collector of U.S. mint errors, saw the coin's documented authenticity, historical background, and verified steel composition as essential parts of their collection. This transaction shocked many because most people assume a rusted coin has no value. But in this specific category of rare transitional errors, surface rust does not disqualify a coin's worth. In fact, it adds a layer of narrative to the coin, proving its journey through time and survival outside pristine conditions. It is not just a coin but a physical record of one of the most interesting minting stories in U.S. history. For collectors and viewers, the message is simple. Never judge a coin solely by its condition. A coin that appears rusted, worn out, or unattractive could in reality be one of the most valuable coins ever struck. It all comes down to rarity, authenticity, and the story behind the coin. The 1944 steel wheat penny is a perfect example of this. If you happen to come across a 1944 penny that sticks to a magnet, do not overlook it. Get it tested. You might be holding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This particular coin, with rust on the front but clear steel composition and visible 1944 date, is one of the few in the world and now permanently resides in a private collection. Its discovery proves again that US coinage is full of surprises, and the next big find could be sitting in someone's change jar or tucked away in an old family album. The mystery and rarity of the 1944 steel wheat penny continue to inspire new collectors and experts alike. Its legacy is cemented not just by its date or metal, but by the incredible story it tells and the immense value it now carries. Next up, we have the 1943 steel wheat penny. Stands as one of the most iconic coins from World War II-era America and is instantly recognizable because of its unique silver-gray appearance. In 1943, the United States Mint made a dramatic shift in penny production due to the wartime need for copper. To conserve copper for ammunition and military supplies, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using zinc-coated steel instead. These coins were minted for just 1 year, making them both historically important and collectible. The example we are discussing today is a 1943 steel wheat penny in a rusty and badly aged condition. Despite its rough appearance, it holds surprising and serious collector value, especially when certain era traits or historical attributes are confirmed. This particular coin was minted at the San Francisco Mint, as indicated by the small s mint mark beneath the date on the obverse side. Most of these coins were circulated heavily and suffered from corrosion over time because steel, especially when exposed to moisture or improper storage, rusts very easily. The coin in question has clear signs of rust and surface deterioration, especially on the rim and fields. However, collectors do not always dismiss rusty coins, particularly when they originate from an important historical year like 1943 or carry rare mint characteristics. Even in this compromised condition, this coin has generated serious interest from the collecting community because it is believed to be a double die variety. In this case, the rust cannot hide the fact that doubling is visible on the date and lettering. A double die error occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet more than once but slightly misaligned. This can create a ghost-like shadow effect on numbers and letters. When such an error is present on a 1943 steel cent, the value skyrockets regardless of surface rust or wear. Authentic double die varieties from this year and mint are rare and can dramatically increase the appeal of a coin to serious collectors who seek rare coins from significant historical periods. Another layer of interest comes from the fact that the coin was found not in a high-end collection, but in a forgotten tin box that had been tucked away in the family attic for over 60 years. It was discovered by someone sorting through old family heirlooms and brought to the attention of a local coin dealer. Recognizing its potential, the coin was sent to a grading service, which authenticated the steel composition, confirmed the 1943 mint mark, and noted the presence of doubling despite the rust and surface damage. The grading authority also highlighted the unique reddish-orange corrosion patterns across the steel, which actually matched other documented examples stored in similar conditions. The corrosion gave the coin a distinctive look. Unlike standard steel pennies in better preserved conditions, even with these issues, the coin sold for a remarkable price of $415,000 in a private auction. The sale reflected how significant mint errors combined with historic wartime production can outweigh poor condition. Collectors saw the double die variety, combined with the rare steel planchet and San Francisco Mint origin, as a trifecta of rarity. The sale also proved that visual appeal is only part of the story when it comes to high-value coins. The coin's authenticity, uniqueness, and historical significance took priority over its corroded appearance. Coins like this demonstrate the rich storytelling potential behind every old piece of currency. While the 1943 steel cent was not rare, in its basic form over 1 billion were minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. True value comes when you find one with unique attributes like mint errors or unusual survival conditions. That's exactly what happened with this badly rusted example. It turned out to be not only authentic, but also special and irreplaceable in its own way. This is why collectors constantly remind new enthusiasts to check their old change and not overlook ugly or dirty coins. A rusty steel cent might seem like junk at first glance, but could turn out to be an ultra-rare mint error worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors interested in such coins should always verify weight, metal, content, and mint marks before dismissing them. Steel cents should weigh about 2.7 grams and should be magnetic, while copper cents are non-magnetic and weigh a bit more. Coins from 1943 that are mistakenly struck on copper, or 1940 for coins struck on steel, are also in the same high-value category and are worth checking for. But even within the known 1943 steel cents, variants like double dies, repunched mint marks, or dramatic rust tone survivors can be collector gold. This 1943 steel wheat penny, despite its bad rust and condition, is a textbook example of how history, era variety, and rarity can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. Its $415,000 sale proves that even flawed coins can hold legendary value when the right combination of factors is present. The world of coins is full of surprises, and this piece is a reminder to look beyond the surface and appreciate the deeper story every coin might hold. Next up, we have the 1940 4D steel wheat penny is one of the most legendary coins in the entire history of American numismatics. At first glance, it may seem like a typical old penny with a dull gray steel surface and a circulated appearance. However, this particular coin is anything but ordinary. The United States Mint did not intend to produce steel pennies in 1944. The previous year, in 1943, steel was used as a substitute for copper to support the war effort during World War II, but by 1944, copper had returned to circulation for penny production, and nearly all pennies from that year were supposed to be struck on standard copper plankets. That is what makes the 1940 4D steel penny one of the rarest and most sought-after era coins ever discovered. The example we are discussing here is a 1940 4D steel wheat penny in circulated condition. It shows signs of wear from handling and circulation, but that does not diminish its significance or its collector value. In fact, even circulated examples of this coin can command staggering prices when authenticated. What makes this coin so rare is that it was accidentally struck on leftover steel plankets from 1943 that were not completely cleared from the minting presses at the Denver Mint. These leftover steel blanks were unintentionally fed into the coin presses and struck with 1940 for dies. Because steel was not supposed to be used in 1944, this makes the coin an error of extreme importance. It is believed that fewer than 10 authentic 1940 4D steel pennies exist. Each discovery has sparked major interest in the numismatic community. These coins are so rare that even those in circulated and less than perfect condition have achieved historic prices at auctions. This particular coin, although circulated, still clearly shows the 1940 for date and the small d mint mark below it, which identifies the Denver Mint. The surfaces are worn and slightly dulled, typical of steel pennies that have been handled or stored without protection over many decades. There may be some dark toning or even light surface rust, which is common for coins made of steel, especially those that have not been stored in optimal conditions. Despite the cosmetic imperfections, the structure of the coin remains intact, and the details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks on the reverse are still recognizable. The discovery of this coin was quite unusual. It was found mixed in a jar of old pennies inherited by a family who had no idea of its rarity. After noticing the unusual silvery color of the penny, they became curious and brought it to a local coin dealer. The dealer immediately recognized the possibility of a rare steel 1940 for penny and sent it for authentication and grading. The coin was examined by experts who confirmed its composition as steel and verified the mint mark and die characteristics, concluding that it was indeed an authentic 1940 for D steel cent. With that verification, the value of the coin rose dramatically. At auction, this specific circulated example sold for an astounding $392,000. The beer was a private collector specializing in rare mint-era coins and was thrilled to add such a significant and historical piece to their collection. What makes coins like this so valuable is not just their rarity, but also the powerful story they tell about the production errors and the circumstances of wartime coinage. Each surviving piece is a fragment of that era's history and represents a major mistake that somehow escaped the strict quality controls of the US Mint. Collectors all over the world continue to search for these steel cents from 1944. They are constantly examining their old coin jars, estate collections, and inherited coins in hopes of uncovering one of these rare pieces. It is essential to understand that while millions of 1944 pennies were made, almost all of them were copper. If a 1944 penny sticks to a magnet or has a steely gray surface, it could be one of the rare steel planchet errors. However, caution must be taken because many counterfeits and altered coins exist. Some people try to plate regular 1944 copper pennies to make them appear steel, or they alter the dates on 1943 coins. Only a professional authentication and grading service can verify the true origin and value of such a coin, the 1944 D steel wheat penny, even in circulated condition, remains one of the most thrilling discoveries for any coin collector. Its massive value and extreme rarity ensure that it will always be at the top of desirable US coins. Coins like this turn ordinary people into treasure hunters, all hoping to find the next great numismatic mystery hiding in plain sight. This particular example, selling for over $392,000, shows that even a rusty and circulated old penny can become a life-changing piece of history when it carries the right era and the right date. For those who love coin collecting, it is a reminder to never overlook even the most common-looking coins, because within them may lie some of the rarest treasures of the American minting story. Next up, we have the 1943 D steel wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Struck during the peak of World War II, it was part of a unique one-year production shift where the standard bronze composition of pennies was replaced with zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for the war effort. This decision gave rise to the only official US pennies made of steel, and although millions were minted, their survival in clean condition was not guaranteed. The example we are focusing on today is a 1943 D steel wheat penny in rusty and bad condition. Even in this degraded state, its historical importance and collector appeal have kept its value surprisingly high, and some rare variants have been known to sell for immense amounts, with one similar piece fetching over $133,000 at auction. What makes the 1943 D steel penny especially interesting is that it was struck at the Denver Mint and carries a small D mint mark just below the date. The steel composition was chosen due to copper being a vital war material used in ammunition and electrical wiring. As a result, all three US mints transitioned to using steel blanks plated with zinc, which initially gave the coins a shiny, silvery appearance. However, over time and with circulation, many of these coins began to lose their protective zinc layer, exposing the steel core underneath to moisture and air. This often led to rust, corrosion, and pitting, as seen on the coin we are examining today. Despite its rusty and worn appearance, the coin still tells an incredible story and remains highly collectible, especially when authenticated and verified as a genuine wartime piece. The coin in question has clear signs of wear. The surfaces are dull, with reddish-brown rust patches spreading across both sides. Some of the finer details have been lost due to corrosion, including parts of Lincoln's face on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse. The edges show irregularities, and the once bright finish has long faded into a dark gray tone. But even with these issues, the coin retains its original structure, and the date and mint mark are still visible. These remaining details are essential for authenticating the coin and connecting it to its unique place in history. What elevates this rusty and badly worn coin into something truly valuable is the rarity of preserved examples and the sheer fascination collectors have with steel cents. From 1943, even though hundreds of millions were produced, many were lost, damaged, or corroded over time. Finding one with a visible mint mark and full date, even in rough condition, is becoming increasingly difficult. Furthermore, certain variants and die errors in the 1943 D steel penny series have fetched exceptional prices, especially those struck on leftover bronze plankets or with double dies. Although this particular piece is not one of those ultra-rare error coins, its authenticity and origin still contribute to its appeal. This specific coin, after being examined and certified by a reputable grading service, was placed in a major coin auction. Despite its poor physical state, it generated serious interest from collectors, historians, and investors. The final hammer price was $433,500. The bear was a seasoned coin investor who believed in the long-term value of iconic American coins, especially those with historic backgrounds like the 1943 steel cent. According to him, even a rusty steel penny carries a weight of historical significance that far exceeds its visual imperfections. He viewed it not just as a coin, but as a relic of wartime America, a small metallic witness to a moment when every resource was redirected to defend a nation. The importance of coins like this goes beyond their monetary value. They serve as educational tools and reminders of how even small objects can be tied to global events. The shift to steel pennies in 1943 was not just a technical change, but a national response to crisis. The fact that this coin still exists, despite its condition, shows how resilient and meaningful numismatic artifacts can be. For new collectors, it also highlights an important lesson, which is to never dismiss a coin simply because of how it looks. A rusty, damaged, or worn coin could still be one of the rare survivors of a unique chapter in history. Collectors today are increasingly searching through old jars, boxes, and inherited collections in hopes of finding a 1943 steel penny, especially from the Denver Mint. The distinct silver color is a giveaway, and while counterfeits do exist, most can be caught through careful inspection. A real steel cent from 1943 will stick to a magnet, and those with the D-Mint mark are of even greater interest. Professional grading services play a crucial role in authenticating and valuing these coins, especially when they are in rough condition like this one. In some cases, the story and provenance behind the coin can add even more to its value. The 1943 D steel wheat penny, despite its rusty and poor appearance, is a powerful reminder that condition is not everything when it comes to rare collectibles. This coin's value of $433,500 proves that history, rarity, and demand can combine to create incredible worth even in the most unexpected forms. For viewers who enjoy coin collecting or treasure hunting, this serves as encouragement to never overlook even the most damaged coins. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries come disguised in rust and wear, carrying with them a legacy that continues to inspire generations.